Hi, and welcome to a video on how to use the Math Short Answer tool in Schoology. This is also a video on how to effectively communicate mathematics through mathematical expression and writing. So first of all, this is an example of a problem that you might see on an assessment. It says, explain the error that was made in the problem below, then fix the error. Include explanation as you work through each step of the problem correctly. So the first thing we need to do is identify where the error is. Now, if I was a student, I would actually have a pencil and paper out and I would rework this problem. So the first thing I would do is distribute the 3, and that looks like it's been done correctly in line 2. So if I look at line 2 looks correct. The next thing I would do is I would get the variables on the same side, and I would have to use the subtraction property of equality to do that. I would subtract 6x from both sides and I would get 6x plus 6. So it looks like the error is in line 3. So I'm going to begin my answer down here. And if you notice, there are two tools. We have the math tool or we have the text tool. So we can write text or we can use math. So I'm going to write text and I'm going to say the error was made in line 3. So if we make the correction, we can start at line 2. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good explanation so far, but now I need to correct the problem. So I'm going to hit enter, and if you notice, when you hit enter, you get a new line, and again, you can choose the math or the text. So I'm going to retype line 2, 12x plus 6 equals 6x minus 8. And then I'm going to pick up the problem from there. So I'm going to hit enter again, and now I can explain what I'm going to do. And I'm going to explain we can subtract 6x from each side, correcting the error that was made in line 3. Oh, but see, if you look, I believe I'm on the math choice right now. So I want to make sure I select the text, so that will make it a little bit easier to type. Okay, and then I'm going to correct my error, and I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. So I need the math tool, so I'm going to use the math tool, and I'm going to type in 12x plus 6, which is what I have, but I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides, so I'm going to type in the other side, 6x minus 8, and I'm also going to subtract a 6x from this side. Now, when I do that, I need to explain that I'm going to simplify. So now I will, oops, I want to make sure I select that text tool. Now, if we simplify, we will get, and I'm going to hit enter, and now I'm going to choose the math tool, 6x plus 6 equals negative 8. Okay, and I can hit enter again, and then I can explain the next step that I'm going to do. I'm going to use the text tool, and I'm going to explain using the subtraction property of equality. Now I want to subtract 6 from both sides. We can get all of the variable terms on the left and all of the constant terms on the right. Notice I'm trying to use clear and specific mathematical vocabulary as I work through this problem. All right, and now I'm going to do that. So I'm going to use my math tool, and I'm going to show that I'm going to do 6x plus 6 minus 6, because 6x plus 6 is what I have, and I'm going to subtract 6 from that side, and I have a negative 8 on the right, and I'm going to also subtract 6 from that side. And then I am going to collect like terms. So now I need to explain that because I am explaining my step-by-step process. So when we collect like terms, we get 6x equals negative 14. And I'm going to type that on a new math line, 6x equals negative 14. Notice by making clear lines, it is very easy for the reader to read my work and follow my process. I'm being very organized as I work through this problem. All right, the next thing we need to do is divide both sides by 6. So when I divide both sides by 6, that is the division property of equality. So I'm going to explain that. And then I will show my work. So I'm going to type in what I have, and I'm going to divide the left side by 6. So 6x divided by 6, and then equals negative 14 divided by 6. All right, and then I am going to simplify that. And that you can simplify by saying just simplify the fraction, or I think it would be okay for this one just to write x equals negative 7/3, and you're going to leave it as a fraction. Do not write a decimal and then round it, because once you round, you are no longer accurate. You have an approximation, not an exact answer. Now, this is our answer. If you want to make sure you get the advanced level on your communication, you want to make sure you verify and justify your solution. So to do that, we need to plug that -7/3 back into the original solution. So I'm also going to explain that. I'm going to explain that the solution to the equation is x equals -7/3. We can check this by plugging -7/3 in for the variable in the original problem to make sure the left and right side are equal. And then I'm actually going to do that work. So I'm going to go back to my original equation, 3 times the quantity 4x plus 2. I'm going to replace this x with -7/3. So 3 times the quantity, and I think I'm in text. So I'm going to go back. I want to use my math tool. So I'm going to use my math tool, and 3 times the quantity, -7/3. And that's going to be, I need to multiply that by 4 out in front here, and then I can add my plus 2. So that's what the original problem on the left looked like. And then I had 6 times -7/3, and over here it was a -8. Okay, and then I'm just going to work that out and make sure that as I go through PEMDAS, I get what I should get. So I'm going to type in line by line, and I'm going to make sure the lines are underneath one another so that it's organized and easy for my reader to understand. Okay, and you can see here when I plugged in my -7/3, I worked out line by line the PEMDAS, and you can use your calculator for that. Now make sure your work is clear, organized, and easy for the reader to understand. And then finally, you kind of want to state what you know. The two sides are equal, so we have verified that x equals -7/3 is the correct solution to the equation. All right, so in this video, I showed you how to use the text and math tools to clearly write an explanation to a problem. This is also a problem that employs Criterion C. So if you want to get high marks for Criterion C, make sure that your explanation is clear, that it's specific, that it's organized, that you use mathematical language, and that it is easy for the reader to understand. If you do these things and take your time to work through the problem step by step, you will do a great job on Criterion C, and it will be easy for your teacher to grade your work. Thank you for watching. I hope this video helped.